watching all of the mudslinging political ads, 2012 is an election year. Residents of Minnesota will vote on 3 possible amendments this November. Today, I will inform you about these 3 Minnesota amendments. These amendments include reinstating the 5-year moratorium of wolf hunting and trapping, the definition of a marriage, and a required photo ID for all voters. The first one I will talk about is reinstating the 5-year moratorium on gray wolf hunting. First of all, you may be wondering what a moratorium is. All a moratorium is prohibiting or banning something, which in this case happens to be on wolf hunting. People who are against this moratorium believe that the species of wolves is losing its fear of humans, according to Senate Minority Leader Tom Back. The DNR last counted a population of about 3,000 wolves living in Minnesota. According to people against the moratorium, however, that number could actually be closer to 4,000. People against the moratorium also believe that wolves are causing the depredation of livestock and stalking of humans and children. People for the moratorium have a different argument to make. Wolves have been on the endangered species list since 1974, and only 400 existed. Numbers have been stable since 1998, and they just got off the endangered species list in 2012. Did you know that only 88 livestock kills were reported last year? According to Senator Leader Terry Bonoff, locally it's coyotes that present a problem, and wolves may help to decrease coyote numbers, she argued. I got this source from the Princeton Union Eagle, and the latest status update on this amendment was Hand's amendment for moratorium failed on a 26-40 vote. The second amendment I will be talking about is the Minnesota Same-Sex Marriage Amendment. The question will be worded as, shall the Minnesota Constitution be amended to provide that only a union of one man and one woman shall be valid or recognized in Minnesota? Yes or no? Proponents of this amendment are for this bill. They believe that marriage is somewhat of a religious thing and should be only kept between a man and a woman. According to Archbishop John Neinstead, this is our time to stand up and defend a marriage as a unique institution that, from the beginning of human history and in every culture, is the union of one man and one woman for the propagation of the human family and the upbringing of children. Without this amendment, judges' personal biases will influence all court outcomes on gay marriage and other marriages like it. Opponents of this believe that this is discrimination based on sexual orientation. According to Governor Mark Dayton, he is here to support those Minnesotans and Americans who want the same rights, freedoms, opportunity, respect, dignity, and legal protections and legal opportunities as every one of their fellow citizens, which is the founding principle of this country. I got this source from Ballotpedia, and the latest status update on this bill was that this bill does not need Governor Dayton's approval and will appear on the 2012 ballot. The final amendment I will be talking about is the Minnesota Voter ID Bill. The question will be worded as, should the Minnesota Amendment, or Constitution, be required to require all voters to present valid photo identification to vote? Proponents for this bill believe there is no evidence of disenfranchisement. And I know you're all thinking, what is disenfranchisement? Disenfranchisement is basically revoking or taking a person's right to suffrage or a person's right to vote, you're taking it away. They believe that if you pass this bill, you'll increase public confidence and you will increase the public voter turnout. They also believe that this is more of a fair voting way and you will eliminate impersonation and fraud. Opponents believe that this is taking away votes from the poor in democracy. According to research by Caltech, MIT, and Rutgers, lower income and lower education voters vote at lower rates, nearly 3%. If this bill is passed, it will also make Minnesota the most restrictive state in the nation for voting. If passed, people who are not pre-registered, will not be able to vote. I got this source from TwinCities.com. Now, on the latest status update, Governor Dayton has vetoed this bill, but it will most likely be placed on the 2012 November ballot. All Minnesota citizens should be informed regarding the possible new amendments. Now that I've summarized the moratorium on gray wolf hunting and trapping, The marriage definition as a man and a woman, and voter photo ID requirement, it is your civic responsibility to inform others, including your parents and grandparents. Having informed voting citizens will strengthen the power of our country's democratic process. And this is just my work site page. Any questions?
Why did you choose this topic?
Because I was just a little bit interested because we haven't had an amendment passed in like 12 years.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
yeah, definitely. Okay. What?
Why do they want to start wolf hunting when we just got off the endangered species list?
They believe that like the farmers are losing money because they're killing livestock.
Nice job,